Good morning. Welcome to another fun-filled, exciting episode of Insurance Questions Podcast. Holy cow, Don, 197. We're almost at your 200 number.
Woo, it's coming up quick, isn't it?
So is that going to be our bicentennial episode?
Sure. I remember our first one 200 years ago.
I know, right? So all the comments and statements by Eddie Buffalo and Donnie Lowe are purely for entertainment circuses. Entertainment purposes. I don't know.
Did you have any Pop-Tarts today yet, or what?
I'll tell you, my allergies have been so horrible. It's so dry here in Texas, and I'm dying. You know, it was so bad that I actually put on a big stew pot of water and let the steam go all last night. It actually helped, believe it or not.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, say your stuff, Don.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you're watching on our YouTube channel, EBI Pod.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
What about our TikTok friends, Don?
Well, I'll get to that. But I kind of snickered there a little bit because you should see what Eddie has on the screen. So really check us out on our YouTube channel, EBI Pods, Insurance Questions Podcast. And when you go there, please like and share. That's very important for us. So we appreciate that. We're on 43 different podcast depositories. So wherever you listen, we're on just about everything that's available. Hit that fan mail button. Send us questions, topics for future shows, just general information. We'd love to correspond with you that way. So you hit the fan mail button for that. TikTokers, you can watch us live while we're taping or doing our live show on TikTok, because we do that live.
TikTok friends are doing right now. Hi, TikTok friends.
That's right. And you can correspond with Andy that way, because he does love TikTok and all the TikTokers. So
what's going on?
So thank you. And as we always say, we really appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch or listen to us and engage with us. So thank you. We appreciate you.
So, Donnie, I was feeling a little nostalgic today, and you can see I have my Tragically Hip shirt on. That I totally forgot that I even had this.
That's wild.
You know, that's a
cool shirt.
I don't know if you were a big fan or not, but the last concert that Gord and the boys ever performed, they broadcast it live all through Canada, and I remember watching it live at Riverworks.
Oh, wow.
It was such a big thing, and he passed away not too long after that.
Yeah, he was definitely fighting that cancer thing to the end.
If you are not watching our video feed, you really should. I'm going to turn this around for our TikTok friends and see what we have on the screen. And it's nothing dirty.
No.
If you are from the Buffalo, New York area, and you're of a certain age, like me and Don are, we know what Whammy Weenies are. Do you remember that, or you want me to talk about it?
No, you can talk about it, but I remember it. It's just so funny.
Back 78, 79, 80, Buffalo was having a huge resurgence with the Talking Proud campaign. Buffalo's got a spirit, talking proud. And it seems like that's the first time I really saw it, where the Buffalo Bills and the city of Buffalo were very closely intertwined. I remember Inside the NFL, when it was on HBO, they came and shot the video from the Erie Basin Marina, Don.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And there was a supermarket chain called Bell's that is no longer in its existence. But as like Pittsburgh had the terrible towel, you'd wave it during the games. Well, Buffalo, for whatever bizarre reason, had the Whammy Weenie. It's a green hot dog with yellow writing that says Whammy Weenie on it. And you could only get them at Bell's. I remember that. Do you remember Bell's used to have all that generic stuff with like the yellow labels and the black writing?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and that was the first time I ever saw someplace that had bulk food.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I remember they had the best peanut butter because it was like super mushy and like almost liquidy, but it was really easy to spread. So I got to ask you, Don, on our financial shows, we talk about what to invest in. And now if you would have got yourself a Whammy Weenie way back when, you're not going to believe how much you're selling this stuff for online, Don.
Well, you kind of told me or showed me. So
are you ready, Don? Are you ready?
Let's go.
If you bought that dollar Whammy Weenie from Bell's way back when, you, my friend, can sell it on eBay like this person's doing. Oh, tell them how much it is, Don.
It's $99.
Oh my God. And the thing that's really funny to me, and like I've seen these in like bars and restaurants, like behind the bar.
Oh yes.
They all got recalled.
Why did they get recalled?
Because they used a little something called lead paint on the Whammy Weenies.
Oh geez. Wow. Well, you can just, put that, in front of you while you're walking. If there's any radiation, you don't have to worry about it.
Well, it's so funny. Oh, if you got a Whammy Weenie and you've had it in your pocket all these years, you built up immunity. Yeah. So it'll be you, Keith Richards, and the cockroaches with your Whammy Weenies.
That's right. Keith Richards.
That blew me away that somebody's selling this for $100. It'd be funny. I wish you'd said their names because, Kid Buffalo Collectibles. That's interesting. So I think that's something that we should call them one of these days, Don. And why they feel that a Whammy Weenie is worth $99. What was it called?
Well, you know what? It's worth whatever somebody's willing to pay for it.
Kid Buffalo Collectibles. Let's take a look. I don't mean to give them a commercial, but I think it would be neat to get them on the show and find out, other Buffalo stuff that they have,
Yes.
Oh, see, they're on Facebook. They're on eBay, obviously, because we're showing that right now. But everything, it doesn't look like they have a website. So okay. I'm going to have to do a 411 on them and see if we can find them.
There you go. There you go.
So, Don, what is the temperature back in Buffalo? Because it was 22 this morning when I left for the gym here in Greenville, Texas.
Right now, it is 32 degrees. I went outside this morning. It was, it snowed yesterday. I shoveled the driveway and the pathway to our front door. And this morning, it was all ice, but it was starting to melt. It was like starting to rain. And so I tried to scrape up the ice. Luckily, my wife had found some ice melt the other day because we're in shortage for that. So I was able to soften up the ice and scrape up most of it. I think I'm gonna have to go back out there and do it again. But yeah, so it's 32 right now. It's gonna get cold.
The working man.
So anyway, I know that you had a couple topics you wanted to talk about.
I do, but I want to show you something else.
Documentaries. Okay, I wanted to mention something else before you did that.
Sorry about the sirens, if you guys can hear that. So usually my microphone pretty much drowns that stuff out, which is really good. But Don, I was a world traveler yesterday.
Oh, I know. I want to hear about your story. You told me you were going to be
I went to Paris yesterday.
Look at that.
Paris, Texas.
Paris, Texas. So what is that that structure behind you?
It is on the Eiffel Tower.
Did you take the elevator up to the top?
No, it's so teeny tiny that you can't do anything with it.
Oh, really?
So, I'm trying to make it bigger, but it's not letting me do it. So I'm sorry about that.
That looks pretty cool.
I was all excited to see it, thinking that it would be there. You can actually see the hat on it.
Yeah, now I didn't see that before.
And cool. Wherever you go in Paris, Texas, they have pictures of this thing all over the place. So I'm like, oh yeah, we'll check it out. I was there for a doctor's appointment, and I'm like, it's so small. It almost reminds. Did you ever go to Tivoli, the miniature world in Ontario, where they had all the miniatures?
No.
So I sent this to my daughters, And I said I was really disappointed because I tried the hat on and it was too small for my head.
You do have a big head, huh?
Oh, thanks, Don. Thanks. Hey, whatever, Don.
You've mentioned it, so.
So
no, that's cool though. So is it like a one light town or?
Oh no. There are some rough areas there, like every place. But there's some areas that are beautiful. You know, a lot of big old, but there's nothing there.
Really?
You know, but you can't see it. But to the right of this is their Veterans Memorial Park, and they had a lot of really nice stuff for veterans. And we thank everybody for their service, all our veterans out there. So
yes, absolutely. So it's interesting. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was to say it's interesting because, you know, there are a lot of cities and towns in the United States, presumably named after cities in other countries.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And provinces in other countries, you know. So obviously Paris, Texas. There's Venice, Florida, Venice, California, Naples, Florida.
Well, it's funny
Ontario, California.
This is totally not down in their downtown square, and their downtown square is cute. It's
really?
typical. That's one thing I like about these little Texas towns. Their downtown area are pretty cool. Good place to like walk around and find stuff that you wouldn't find anywhere. And we went to this burger place. I wish I could remember the name of it. It was awesome. Cool. It was probably the dirtiest restaurant I've ever seen in my life. Everybody like signed their names. They tagged the walls, the ceilings there. But the food, oh my God, it was so good. And they even do like the hand cut seasoned fries. Oh wow. Delicious.
Oh, that's neat. That's neat. So did you hear any ZZ Top?
No, it was really sad because it was just, you could see there was like grease from them cooking all the time. And they had like these two monitors showing like music videos.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't on. The one was in and the other one seemed like it was stuck on. And it's funny you say that, Ted Nugent.
Oh, really?
Uncle Ted.
Uncle Ted.
You know, but
cat scratch fever.
It was but yeah, I love going to all these little towns. You know, and you think to yourself, we don't have anything like this back home. I mean, we do have hot dog places, but this was like a tin shack, Don. Wow. And there were no like booths. It was just like a long ass counter, and it would have like the you know, like the old donut shops, those seats that twirl.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And we're looking at the bill, and the girl writes down 13 and 14. I'm like, what the hell is that? It was number 13 and 14 seat, which I thought
really?
was kind of interesting.
That is like the seats that didn't Henry's Hamburgers used to have those seats at the counter?
My favorite place of all time, Don.
I know.
So what do you want to talk first, or do you want me to talk about what we want to talk about today?
I just thought I know you had mentioned a few things that you want to talk about, but before you did that, just a couple things kind of happening in the news and all that.
Are you pregnant, Don?
You're not supposed to reveal that information.
Whoops. We'll gotta save that for the reveal to see if you're having a boy or a girl. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be a whammy weenie. It's got like either pink or blue. Yeah. Let's do a poll. Is Donnie having a boy or a girl, or is it twins? Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Oh my goodness. So couple things. New York City. All right. And this is kind of crazy.
Did you send me anything that you wanted me to share?
No, there's nothing to pull up on this. So did you know that New York City, there's a non-citizen voting law?
No.
Where non-citizens can vote
really?
For local elections.
Just local, not national?
Well, correct. So it's you know, they're being sued and it's going before the court. So I'd be interested to find out what's going to happen with that. You know, because New York, they're, you know, issuing allegedly driver licenses to people that are not documented.
Where are they getting the money to do this? I thought when you came to this country, you don't have any money. We're paying for them to live someplace, helping them find a job. How are they affording a license and insurance and all that stuff?
Well, I mean, it's not, you don't need a car to have a license, but so anyway, that's the non-citizen voting laws is going to be in the courts. So I just thought I'd mention that.
That's interesting.
You know, you heard that Tulsi Gabbard was
I was watching a lot of that yesterday.
Approved for that 52-48 vote. I think RFK Jr. is up for his vote today. But there was some.
Said, Linda McMahon, WWF, Linda McMahon. Okay, baby, we got you now. Head of schools, really? That's awesome.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? But there was some other big news announced yesterday for Buffalo. I don't know if you heard it or not.
Yeah.
George Strait and Chris Stapleton.
Oh, I did see that.
Are going to be performing in Highmark Stadium where the Buffalo Bills play on June 14th.
And they're only doing 4 dates, so try to get tickets for that stuff. No way.
Yeah, man. So Flag Day, they'll be at in Buffalo. I was almost going to say Rich Stadium, but it's Highmark Stadium. So that's pretty cool.
This or not, Don, but I mean, they're sharing it on Google, so yeah, I'm thinking we can. So this is your New York State non-resident license, and they have that thing on the bottom that they have it circled. That's crazy. Now, do you see this one here?
You're not sharing.
That's to show that you're under 21. Ah, shoot. I'm sorry, Don.
That's all right.
Maybe we got stuck. It started to share as soon as I turned it off. Figures. Let's try this again. It's always the way.
Boy, we're having all sorts of technical difficulties these past 2 weeks.
Good thing we're not live, you know. Is it live or is it Memorex? Who knows?
Oh, who remembers that?
Yeah, I know, right? Because so that's all the things there. And the star must mean something either, too, on this. So this is from New York State's website to show you examples of the non-resident licenses. So let's see.
Yeah, crazy. So I wouldn't dig into that much further. What did you want to talk about?
Well, a lot of times I, go down a rabbit hole on a lot of stuff that I find on YouTube. And I believe this was on Prime. Did I tell you it was on Prime? I don't remember, Don.
No, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me what it was. You were going to surprise me. So
there was a documentary, and it was about, I don't know, hour and a half, close to 2 hours, and it's about all my attention span can handle. And it was a guy's name that I never knew who the hell he was, and the gentleman's name is Carol Spinney. Do anything for you?
No.
You know his work, Don.
I probably do. You did. I don't recognize the name, though.
You will now, Don.
Oh, was he Big Bird or was he Oscar the Grouch?
He's both.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I don't know if he's still working because when they shot this, it was like about 10 years ago, and he was in his 70s and he was still working. And all they did is they did get a body double for him if he was getting tired, that somebody could put on a thing. But it's crazy because in the documentary, he's up here all the time.
Yeah.
Doing the mouth and movies his hand over there. That hand over there never moved. I never noticed that before.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So what was really cool about a couple things, actually, a couple good stories on it. And I'm just going to give you some highlights on it. So Big Bird went to the Great Wall of China.
Yes.
And how that happened is that the CBS was interviewing Bob Hope, and I'm bringing over my buddy Big Bird, and they're like, "What? You're doing what?" And it was interesting because that was a whole different time in the 70s, even more than it is now. in China that they could only go over there with a very small crew, and they couldn't bring any assistance. So the people schlepping around their luggage and stuff was Jim Henson and Frank Oz.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. So crazy.
I thought it was really interesting. He talked about his relationships, and we talk about relationships on here. We're a financial. Let's see how much this guy's worth while I'm talking. $8 million for being Oscar the Grouch and Big Bird. Hell yeah.
Cool. Good for him.
He died on December 8th, 2019. He passed away.
I was thinking that.
And they said, I mean, there was a point in time that you couldn't walk down the street without seeing a little kid with something from Sesame Street, and 9 times out of 10 it was Big Bird. You know, so they sold a lot of merch on that. But one very interesting story that he was talking about was his first wife hated what he did not like him being Big Bird, did not want anything to do with it. I mean, this is a guy that was in the service, came out of the service, was looking for something to do. He's doing puppet shows. And he got found by Jim Henson. He goes, "Why don't you come and work for the Muppets?" The guy's like, "What? The heck's a Muppet?" You know? And then they became good friends and moved on from that. So, like I said, the one story that was about him and his family is that his first wife wanted nothing to do with what he was doing. And when he was single again, he saw a very cute girl with long brown hair and one of the secretaries at children's television work not shot, and he's like, "Would you like to go out to dinner sometime?" She goes, "No, I have prior engagement." He's like, "Okay." So he's just thinking that she was blowing him off, that she had a boyfriend or something. About 3 or 4 months down the line, he saw this blonde girl with long blonde hair typing, and they were talking, and he's like, "Would you like to go out to dinner?" And she said, I really can't. I have prior engagement. Once he's like, "I am SOL. Every time I ask somebody out, nobody wants to do anything, with me." And he said, like 6 months later, there was a redheaded secretary, typing away, and he's talking to her, and then he goes, "You think you'd want to go to dinner?" She goes, "Well, yes. And you are persistent. I can't believe you asked me 3 times." It was the same woman, Don.
And he didn't know?
No. And they were married forever until he passed away.
Oh, that's a nice story.
His manager. So, I mean, she went to China with him, all these different things. And it's really nice when you have a partner that supports what you do when nobody else does. Life is hard enough.
It's got to be tough. So you go on a first date. So what do you do? I'm Big Bird.
I'm Big Bird.
What? I play with puppets.
Okay, so, Don, I think we're gonna go ahead.
Oh, did you have another documentary you wanted to talk about?
No, I just wanted to say one more thing about Carol Spinney before we moved on to your tab, because I got that pulled up now.
Okay.
They showed this one scene where they were on a river in China, and they had like a character that was like a big dog, and it was choppy. And they said, if the bird goes in the drink, it's gone, and hopefully not him with it, because it was funny, because he walked around like when he was doing rehearsal and that, and he had like the bottom part of the bird, his legs and that, you can remember, like the orange and the pink.
Yeah.
And they were just like fuzzy pants he wore.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So before we go on to mine, I want to pull up yours so I'm not taking the whole show over. And tell me why you want to talk about this, Don.
All right. So because you had mentioned you were watching a few different documentaries, and I was watching this one on Elvis, and it's about the comeback special. So two things I want to point out from that.
Just to let you know, Don, you only got 5 minutes for your story. We're getting closing in on our
I'll be
magic
done
hour.
less than that. So one of the interesting things that I learned was that you have to remember this is 1968, and Elvis was only doing movies for like 7 years. So he was not performing in front of anybody. He wasn't out in public really. He was just doing those Elvis movies. And so Colonel Tom Parker agreed to have NBC produce this thing. And
I saw this documentary, Don.
Did you? Okay, so Steve Binder is the producer of this documentary or the show.
I just have to say something to you, Don. Normally we have a hard time describing our shows, but I mean, I wrote down Whammy, Weenie, Big Bird, and Elvis. If you don't tune in on that, you're missing something.
That's true. That's true. So anyway, Elvis, the first time they met, Elvis asked the Steve Binder, what do you think of my career? So Binder.
It was supposed to be a Christmas special, Don.
It's a Christmas special, right? It's December 28th, 1968. So Binder says, he hesitated. Quite honestly, you're not relevant anymore. Your career stinks.
That's a tough thing to take when you're that high up there.
Yeah,
and you're getting knocked down.
Right. So Elvis really appreciated his honesty, not just being a yes man type thing. So so Steve Binder, there's 2 points I want to bring here. Steve Binder says, all right, do you think that you're still famous? He says, I don't know. He says, why don't we do this? Why don't we walk outside the NBC studios and see if anybody comes up to you? And Elvis said, let me think about that. So like 2 days later, Elvis says, yeah, let's do that.
See, I thought it was Capitol Records building in LA. It was actually
it was Capitol Records. And so they walk outside, and
I don't remember yesterday, but I remember useless stuff, Dad.
Exactly. So Elvis is outside, nobody's paying attention to him. Cars are driving by. Maybe 1 or 2 people are kind of looking. So they walk back in, and Elvis says to Steve, you're right. All right, let's do what we have to do. So that was kind of my take on that. So that was very interesting about that. But did you know in the audience, so Binder had given Colonel Tom Parker all the tickets to fill up the audience for the audience. Yes. And he didn't. He kind of tossed
it. He was a jerk. Yeah.
So,
he was a huge
so they
jerk. He didn't like this whole idea,
Yeah, exactly. So they were scrambling to get people. So they're calling everybody they know. They went on the radio, so you can come to the studio, see Elvis live, all this. So they did fill up the studio. But did you know that one member in the studio audience was a future performer with Josie and the Pussycats?
Oh.
So did you ever see Josie and the Pussycats, that cartoon?
That. Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah. So it was the drummer. They called
the real dopey one.
The Melody is the drummer's name. Yes. They called her the ditzy drummer.
Hi, Melody.
Do you know who that is?
No.
Or was? Cheryl Ladd.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
So
it's just like I just talked about it the other day to somebody. Terry Garr.
Yeah.
She was in a poop load of Elvis's movies.
Oh, I know. You
like background dancing and and my father, he had an interesting story. His claim to fame was that he was on the same ship that Elvis was when he was coming back from the service. He said you could not get near this guy,
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So, yeah. Well, I hope that we covered enough today, because it is Potluck with Donnie Lowe. We never know what we're going to talk about, and I would like to delve a little bit more into Elvis. Some people hate him, some people like him, but the career he had. I mean, there's so many people with one-word names. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope to God nobody ever thinks of me as just Eddie Buffalo. Please, Lord, please, no. But and you, Donnie Lowe. Hey, Donnie Lowe, hey, he knows a guy. Yeah.
That's 2 words, though. It's not a 1-word name.
I know, right? But they kind of comes together. One
Yeah.
word. So I want to thank our TikTok friends. They get to see the show before everybody else. This is going to be posted around 10:30 Central Daylight Time. We're done with our shows for the week, unless there's something crazy in the world that happens tomorrow.
Yep.
I want to thank everybody for watching our shows, wherever you're watching them, whether it's on TikTok Live, YouTube, or our 43 podcast depositories. And tune in next week. We have Buffalo Fights on Monday. Tuesday, we have EBI News for You. Thursday, we have our normal Insurance Questions podcast. Wednesday. And then Thursday, once again, like this show, Potluck with Donnie Law. So we're going to end the show like we always do. If you like working with people that are just like you and the same values, we're the people to see. Website's going to be up at the end of the week. Well, tomorrow it should be up, Don. But you can reach us at eddiebuffaloinsurance@gmail.com. And what's our hotline, Donnie Lowe?
903-662-1564. 903-662-1564.
So everyone, thank you once again. Have an awesome weekend and stay safe, everybody. Peace out.
Cool. Arrivederci.
Where's your ciao?
I did arrivederci instead.
Sounds good. All right, Don, we're done.
All right.